Hi guys, continuing from the last video, to insert data on your graph, like I said before, you need to go to the x-axis and add. You can select data ranges or sets of boxes that have already been on your graph, or you can go to this 4 square over here and it says select a data range. If you click on that, it will open up this box in the middle of your screen. There's a very specific way you need to write out the boxes to make it insert a data range. Okay, so you need to use your column letter, then the row number, then a colon, then your column letter, then your row number. So if I wanted to use the information for time, I would have to start with my column A, box 2. I'm going to type that in. Then you have to do the colon. So you have to hit shift and you hit that button. It's between the L and the apostrophe right below the P. If you don't hold shift and hit that button, you'll do a semicolon, which won't work. So you have to do a colon. And then you need to do the last box that has your information in it. So the first box was A2, and you need to use your last box, which is column A, box 12. So I'm putting A12. This notation is telling the system, I want you to use box A2 to A12 for my x-axis. And you can either hit OK or hit Enter. And now you can see under the x-axis it has this. Now it says 0, and this has come up a couple times. What it's done is it's using column A as labels and using row 1 as headers. So we don't want that. So we're going to uncheck the use row 1 as headers. You don't want to use row 1 as headers. You want it to have A2 to A12. So unclick that box. Okay. If it ever, sometimes it does insert, when you go to insert it or hit OK or hit Enter, it will automatically slide it down into series. I'm not sure why it does that. It doesn't do it all the time, but sometimes it does. If that happens, you just delete it and you put in your series first and then go back to your x-axis. Okay, so your series is what goes on the y-axis and your data. Okay, so whatever your dependent variable is, in this case it is mass, you're going to select a data range and you're going to use the boxes that have the data for mass. So this is going to be column B, row 2, to column B, row 12, and then hit Enter or press OK. Now that you have this here in the series, you'll see that the data does pop up. Okay, so if you ever have it where you're trying to put the x-axis in and it slides it down to series and it makes your graph all weird, go and do your series first, so your dependent variable first, and then go back and add in the x-axis. I don't know why it does that, and it doesn't do it all the time. It's very rare. These ones down here, these are special features. I don't use them very much, and I only, if one of them accidentally gets clicked because it thinks it needs to, I only uncheck them. So use column A as labels. That one can be checked, right? So you have column A. If I uncheck it, it takes off my x-axis. Okay, so use column A as labels on your x-axis. So it's making the scale. Use row 1 as headers. So if you click that, once I have my series on, it just changes like what notation you're seeing here. I don't like having that checked, and it does definitely make things look a little weird, and it makes it harder to input your data. Switch rows and columns, so this will switch things back and forth, so it does some weird stuff to your data. I never click that. Sometimes it'll get clicked for me, but I don't like using that. Okay. So as you can see, messing around with these boxes down here has really changed my graph, and now it doesn't look anything like what I had when I originally put it in. Okay, so just be careful when you're playing around with the setup down here that you don't want to mess around with these boxes down here. You want to make sure that you have your series with your y-axis and then your x-axis with your independent variable. So series, your dependent variable, your x-axis, your independent variable.